Good day, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Literary Appreciation. This is John Paul Delgado, and welcome to Teacher JP Talks. Today, we are going to launch another series of literary appreciation, and we will call it Building Book Club. Literature is life, or life is literature. Literature is our gateway of looking the world outside or the world around us. We can learn, we can understand, and appreciate the world. Reading literature is the best way to know who we are, and what we are used to be. Education in the 21st century requires innovation and creativity. One of the 21st century skills needed today is the innovation skills. We, as teachers, have to keep pace on the changes in the world. Teaching literature can become motivating and interesting when appropriate teaching strategies are employed by the teachers in the classroom. Very often, teachers either lecture or use question and answer or recitation methods. Well, these are not anymore that effective during discussion because the questions remain at the level of who, what, when, where, but hardly how or why. According to Lee in 2011, teachers' job is to nourish and enhance students' intelligence. Today, we are going to discuss some creative ways to introduce a literature idea. Number one, have ambient sounds playing when students walk into your room. I believe this is very effective because it somehow sets the mood or the atmosphere or gets the vibe of what will be the theme or the tone or the atmosphere of a certain literary piece. When we use appropriate ambient sounds during our literary class or literature class, we are able to get the feeling of what is embedded in the literary piece. And these ambient sounds trigger our emotion, our feelings, our imagination that could most probably help us be into the literature itself. Number two, we have add tokens around the room. Okay. As we all know that students or learners are curious of the things around them. While in teaching literature, we have to add tokens around the room. Because I believe that when there's a new thing or somehow peculiar to the eyes of your students, they these things or these tokens will most probably excite the curiosity of your students, and your students will begin to ask what is it about those tokens, or what is it about those things, or why do we have or why you have those things during the class. And by that, you could tell your students that your literary piece that you are going to discuss that day, that certain day, is somehow related to the tokens in the table. And that's for number 2, which is add tokens around the room. Number 3, we have use art to start. Alright. So we have the word start here. So this is most probably used during the motivational part of the class. So most of teachers use pictures to trigger the minds of the students so that they could go deep or go deeper in the discussion using the art pieces they have in the beginning of the class. Or we could ask the students to get a piece of paper and a pen and draw associated things or events that happen to them using word clues that are used in the selection you are going to read. So by that, again, we could trigger and excite the interest and imagination of the students, and the lesson will be more active and the students will be more participative because we got them. And that is for number 3, use art to start. And we have number 4. Number 4 is use picture books to introduce a concept or theme. So this is most probably more likely to be used at the elementary level or the primary level, because students in the primary level or elementary level are easily triggered by pictures, especially during narration or storytelling parts of the class. And if we don't have enough picture books to be used during discussion, we could make our own life-size books so that the students from afar or at the back of the class will easily see the pictures you are presenting to them in the picture books. Because if we use the normal size picture books, the students at the back or from afar will not be able to see the pictures in the books that could make the class noisy, because the students will have to transfer places in order to see or read what is written or drawn in the picture books. So might as well I suggest that we as teachers in the secondary level provide our own life-size picture books that is more effective to use. And that's number 4, use picture books to introduce a concept or theme. We have number 5, anticipation guides with a twist. So as what we all know, using anticipation guide is common best practice of teachers that builds students' curiosity and interest, because we are posting questions that triggers their prior knowledge of the lesson or of the literary piece. And again, this will trigger students' interest on diving more into the literary piece. But as what we have discussed here, anticipation guides with a twist. So what is the twist? Instead of posting questions or guide questions, anticipation guide questions before the actual reading of the selection, we could somehow use quotations, mantra, or one's philosophy in life, and students, instead of stating their answer orally, they have to act. They have to act, or somehow like charades, what is their perception or what is their opinion about the mantra or that certain philosophy in life. We could somehow use yoga poses mm, if they believe or agree in a certain mantra or a certain quotation, they have to um, do a yoga pose every time they agree on a certain mantra. And that mentally, physically, the students are getting ready for the actual discussion, for the actual participation of or on the lesson. And that is for anticipation guides with a twist. And we have number 6, which is give personality quizzes or polls. So this has something to do with, or we can relate this to content-based instruction approach, wherein we are engaging more the interest of the students in relation to the lesson. Now, for example, we have this Romeo and Juliet as our literary piece for a certain day, for a certain discussion, and we all know that Romeo and Juliet is all about sacrifice, love, and rivalry. And we as a teachers, we have to trigger the minds of, or the curiosity of the students, and we have to formulate questions that could um, attack the students personally in a good way. We have to attack them questions that could most probably let them understand the literary piece more. For example, the students or the youth today is more engaged about love. So as what we all know, Romeo and Juliet is a story of love. We could ask them that we could ask them that or we could ask them if they are willing to sacrifice their life to their loved ones, not just family but opposite sex. Because the ending of the Romeo and Juliet committed suicide of of um, thinking that the other is already dead. And that's for personality quizzes or polls. And now we are down to our last creative way to introduce literalities, and that is number 7, transform your classroom. Usually this happens during final demonstration teaching of the practice of the student teachers during their practice teaching, but this might also be possible when um, the students are the ones who transfer classrooms, because the situation today is teachers are transferring to classroom to teach. So, but might as well we could use this to introduce a literary piece to the students. One of my colleagues during her um, final demo teaching, she made the classroom look like under the sea. She got waves, she got life-size fishes or oversized fishes, she got algae, she got corals inside the classroom. Because the theme of the setting of the literary piece that she used is I believe about under the sea or sea creatures. That's why she transformed the classroom into a setting under the sea. That's why the students are amazed. The students were amazed rather. The students' mind were um, easily manipulated by the teachers, by the teacher, by my colleague, and the discussion went well, went smooth, because the students are into the literalities. They are into the literalities. They are inside the story of the literalities. The enjoyment of reading literature comes from engaging themes and topics that are intrinsically interesting. What does this mean? We, as teachers, should find or should think of the most appropriate strategies that could make our students learn, that could make the interest of our students prolonged, because the students' interest during the teaching learning process is in a short span. And as teachers, we should find or look ways on how to prolong the interest of the students. And in teaching literature, we have many strategies, we have many ways on how to inculcate or to inject literature to our students in a good way or in the best way. We have many approaches to be used in teaching literature. But what we have to teach our students is the heart to literature. It is the intrinsic motivation coming from within that we teachers should really find this technique that will capture the hearts of the students in teaching the literature or in literary appreciation. We must do this because we are teachers and we are nation builders. Again, thank you for listening. This is John Holgado and this is Teacher JP Talks.